on, guys? On this episode, we're going to show you all about the Kubota Mini Excavator. Look at that.
All right, good morning. Welcome back to another edition of Heavy Equipment on the Road through the COVID-19. Today we're out here in Galway. We have a chance to take a look at another excavator. Talk about some different features and controls of this nice Kubota Kx040-4 excavator. We believe this to be about a 4-ton machine, which is roughly 8,000 pounds. Okay. So looking at this, again, it's a little bit smaller than our E55 Bobcat that we have, but it's got a lot of the same features, but it's got some things that are the same and some things that are different. So we'll do a quick walk around and look at the different things and talk about the machine a little bit. Just like when we started talking about ours in class, we started up here, identifying the stick, the arm on the excavator. We can identify our auxiliary hydraulics. This one has a thumb, very much like our E55. But if we wanted to put different attachments on there, like a breaker or something else, we could use these same auxiliary hydraulics. Going down to the end of the dipper arm, our bucket is attached. Notice the difference in the bucket on this versus the bucket on our E55. This does not have our hydraulic quick change. So in order to change out a bucket, we would have to actually remove pins, put the pins back in to change the bucket around. So moving up again, we've got our big boom comes down. And again, like with the mini excavators, we have this auxiliary circuit. So we can actually swing the boom independent of rotating the excavator around. So we can do some offset digs and some different things. So this has that same feature. The Kubota Mini also has a backfill blade. The backfill blade on this one is a little bit different than ours. This one will actually angle. On the blade, you can see these little indicators, which will indicate when that blade is straight, or if you're left or right, to push the material back into the trench that you're working at. So that's kind of very similar to what we have. Let's continue to walk around. Okay. In the back, we can open it up, identify our engine and our pieces, open up our side to get some more of our components identified inside of here. Let me lock that up in place so it doesn't come down and hit me in the head. Okay. Very nice open concept. There's a lot going on. We can identify where all of our hydraulic controls are. The little pilot lines that go back to operate the different pilot controls, making for that nice smooth operation as you're operating the machine. It's not those big wobbly sticks like we have in our backhoes. Nice smooth operation. With this side compartment open, we can also follow through with some of our pre-trip inspection. There's a sight glass in the side of our hydraulic reservoir here to check the level of our hydraulic oil. As long as it's inside that red bullet, we're in good shape. Again, you may need to refer to the operator's manual to make sure that boom and dipper and bucket are all in the right position to get a proper level reading. Walking back, we have several different coolers back here. We have some, this one looks like it's probably the condenser for our air conditioning. This one may be another cooler for our engine oil, hydraulic oil, and obviously our radiator. I'm kind of guessing on those. I don't have the information right in front of me, but that's some of the different components we need to identify. With our pre-trip inspection, make sure there's no material inside blocking the airflow so we can get a nice efficient flow of air through there so we don't have overheating problems damaging different components on the excavator. Looking at the back of it, we can do more of our pre-trip inspections. We can check our coolant level, make sure our coolants have proper level. Engine oil dipstick is down inside of here. And we also, if we were looking to buy an excavator, one of the considerations people look at is serviceability of the machine. We look at the serviceability of this one. We have our fuel filter, nice easy access. Engine oil filter, nice easy access. And I'm assuming it's open underneath there. It's probably a pretty easy access to get at to do our engine oil change, like Mr. Veach talked about in another series that we'll be watching. Okay. Some more components you can quickly identify here looking at it. We can talk about the alternator, which helps to maintain and keep our batteries charged. Down in behind is our starter. That may be a little bit, we might need to do a little bit of extra acrobatics to do a starter change on this, but when we work on compact equipment, that's pretty common. And this is a rental piece that a friend of mine rented to do a project here at his house. You always want to do a quick walk around of the machine when the truck driver drops it off. A simple little scratch or a dent when they come back to pick it up could cost you hundreds of dollars for something that you may not have done. So make sure all that stuff is identified when you pick up and drop off your rental pieces of equipment. I'm going to do a quick close these things down and we'll get inside and take a look at the cab. Okay, so coming back around the other side, if we're having to fuel this machine up, here is our fuel access. A lot of times excavator operators, they drive around with that door open all the time, so we can't fuel it up with the door open. So here's our fuel. And when we remove our fuel cover, this is actually locked. I'd have to get the key to remove it. But there's this little button right here. This little button is kind of neat. If you push this button while you're refueling, it turns on the monitor inside the cab, and it'll actually let you see the fuel gauge to know when you're getting closer, you're not over fueling and spilling fuel on the ground, creating any kind of an environmental hazard. Okay, opening up the door, we can see inside of the excavator. Very similar to ours, with some little bit of a differences. We have the travel Propel levers for our forward and backward. We can use our hands, or we can put them down, and we can use our feet to rock those back and forth. Over here is your hydraulic activation lever. Pulling this down makes your hydraulics live. Putting it up turns them off. Okay. We have our joystick controls for our boom, bucket, swing, house rotation controls. Okay. Something a little bit different. Our excavator, the Bobcat, on our left-hand joystick has a thumb rocker. We rock that thumb back and forth. That will actually swing our boom to the left and the right. On this Kubota, there's actually a pedal on the floor that has a lock on it, that we can pick that lock up, and as that rocks back and forth, that is what is actually used to swing that boom back and forth. So a little bit different from the Bobcat, but it's got the same concept. Some operators may like this, some operators may like it on the thumb. Again, another thing to consider when looking at a piece of equipment. Okay. Up inside, over on the right-hand side, behind the right-hand joystick, is our blade control. It's a little bit different than ours. On the back of the blade control is a rocker switch. Rocking that rocker switch back and forth to the left or the right is what actually angles our blade back and forth to the left and the right. And right below that is our horn button the horn button is not there. The horn button is actually on the right-hand joystick. Down in front of the blade control lever underneath is a little button. When we push that button, that activates our 2-speed. So I'm going to jump in and fire this thing up and do some different control functions. So like when starting up any machine on a cold day, we let our glow plugs cycle. This is an automatic cycle. We turn the key on, let them cycle so they warm up. Start our machine up, and away we go. Most excavators today have some sort of an electronic throttle control. Turning the dial down here behind your right-hand joystick increases and decreases our engine RPMs. Putting our hydraulic activation lever down, now all of our controls are going to become live. Students, I want you to pay attention. I am pulling back on my left hand and my boom is going up. Pushing forward with my left hand, boom is going down. Pulling back on the left control, or right control lever, control lever, arm is going out. We talked about the different control patterns. John Deere versus Caterpillar. Okay, which type of control do I have? When I pull back on my left hand, my boom goes up. Boom goes down with my left hand. Right hand, arm comes in, arm goes out. What control pattern? Okay. So we talked about our blade control. I'm going to put my bucket back onto the ground. I'm going to raise the blade up. Raising the blade up is done with the control lever over here. And this is the angle. On the back of that blade control is that rocker switch. I rock that to the left, or rock it to the right. We actually get our blade angle rocking from the left and to the right. And again, with that indicator on the blade, we can line up those indicators and put that right back in the center. Lowering our blade down, puts it back on the ground. We talked about that boom swing. I can take my toe, uncover that, raise my boom up in the air. I want to swing my boom to the left. I rock this over to the left. Rock it to the right. Rock it back over to the right. All done with the foot instead of having that lever, that switch on the back of our joystick control to swing our boom back and forth. So just wrapping up, again, we looked at some different features, some similarities and some differences between our Bobcat and this Kubota. Keep it in mind, there are a lot of different options, a lot of different opportunities for equipment operators out there. If you're looking to buy something or operate something, make sure you get something that's got the features that you're comfortable with. These are all different things to take into consideration when looking at excavators. I know we're beating excavators and tractors up a little bit. Maybe we'll get on to something better next week. So thanks for tuning in. Look for the assignment online. Wash your hands. Stop the spread. Peace out.